Hey everyone, I'm back. We're gonna start this over. So I'm talking about the movie 300. So hold that thought. I'm always thinking I have everything set up and I really don't. But isn't this the beauty of me? There, that way she can be in the picture too. I love her. She's so pretty. She just has that energy. All right. There, now it's up. It's a little bit better. You guys were to see how I'm doing this, you would be laughing at me right now. All right. So we're talking about the movie 300. And I love that movie 300. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I digress. What I want to talk about is we were, a friend of mine, Marlo and I, we were talking about the pit in 300 and how to really use that. And I want to really say that that movie is such a good movie. And it's a good movie in a lot of different ways. The cinematography is excellent, the music is dramatic, the costumes was beautiful. I just love that movie. So, it's very well done. And the second one was really done too, really well. And it came from more of a female aspect, which I thought was really powerful too. So I like the male and then the female, and then it's like the two come together, and it's the balance. So I love that. So anyway, let me get back to this because I have some magic that I'm discussing about this, and I'm going to take you on a little journey into some of the things I experienced today. But this movie kept coming up in that pit. So in the beginning of the movie, if you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure most women have seen this movie. So if you remember the part where the Persian is riding into the city and he's on the horse and he's rearing up in the horse, and he's got these skulls and he's presenting the skulls and he's showing, yes, I bring with me the death of the king's skulls and I'm coming to your city and you're an axe. That's kind of like what he's trying to say, wearing up on his horse and doing all that stuff. So Gerald, who's the Spartan king, um, he sees the Persian, and he says, "What brings you here to my city? Let's talk. I've earth and water." And he looks at him like, "Earth and water? Okay, what does that mean?" "We already have earth and water." And the Persian gets upset because the queen speaks out, and he says, "What gives this woman permission to be speaking among men?" And she said, "Because Persian women give birth to real men." And I just like, ooh. So I was just like, okay. So as it goes in, the Persian, okay, already threatened the queen, then tells the king, "Choose your words wisely, for they may be your last words as king." Okay, so now he's threatening him, but he's coming into his city with this threat. So as he's walking in and he's doing this, the king starts to look around and he says, he kind of gets this look in his eyes and he looks at the children and then he looks at his queen. Then he looks back over at the Persian and he goes, "No, you should choose your words wisely before you came up here." because you threatened my queen, you insulted her, then you threatened my people with slavery, enslaving them. And you're saying submission. Well, that's a problem because we don't submit. We don't go into submission. And I like how he expressed that. So then the Persian says, you should choose your words wise. They go back and the Persian says, this is blasphemy, this is madness. He goes, no. He looks at his queen. His queen goes like that. No, this is Spartus! And then he kicks the guy over into the pit. And I just love that part. Anyway, the reason why we're having this discussion is because that pit that was behind them, nobody knows how deep that pit really was. Did it have a bottom? Was it one of those pits where it was already there and they just put brick around it? They didn't know where it came from. It was just a pit there. So nobody knows if there was water in the pit. Excuse me. If there was water in the pit, what was there? So I love that part because I look at it and do you know you can use that for healing, that pit. Now we can take and visualize a lot of things that we want to get rid of by visualizing it, cutting the hooks and cords to the person, place, thing, or situation, and then closing the door behind it, and you're done with it. But sometimes, what if you are dealing with something a little bit more heavy? Like people coming in and out of your dreams, messing with you. And they always like to do it around like moon times, like new moon time, full moon time, if you're experiencing something like that. And then you're having weird things happen in your place, your home. Like some people might psychically be being attacked by spiders, don't know where these spiders coming from, flies, different kind of things showing up in your home for no reason. They just show up. A lot of times that's someone sending negative stuff. I remember, I talked about it before. I remember when I lived in my old apartment in Carmichael. And I remember I had to move from one apartment across the way, move into another one. And it just happened to be kitty corner this guy. Now this guy was from, I don't know if he was from Kenya or somewhere in Africa he was from, because when he stood really tall like a warrior, but here's the thing about him, he had these amber color eyes, and that's all I remember about him. He had these amber color eyes, and I was just like, wow, like, because one time I came out of my apartment at the same time as him, and I remember he stops and he looks at me, and his eyes look like the color of amber. And I was just like, morning. He wouldn't say anything to me. He just turned his head and I said, okay. And he walked past me, wouldn't say anything. And I was like, okay, fine. Don't have a good morning then. I'll take it back. So he went on about his business. Little did I know, he did not like me because I found out that he was abusive to his girlfriend and he was beating on her. And they yet were not married, but she was supposed to be getting married to him. And I think the last time she came over or something, there was a lot of ruckus going on. There was a lot of yelling and stuff. And I just remember I went into prayer mode and said, please protect her and let her have the wisdom to acknowledge herself to get out of that relationship. Don't go marry this man, because if he's being mean to you now, it's not going to change when you get your name on a piece of paper. So please, everybody needs to stop falling for that trap. Oh, he's just having a rough time and blah, 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 and you think it's going to be different because you're thinking, well, when we get married, everything is settled. No, if he was abusing you before, being rude to you beforehand, if he was cheating on you beforehand, before you got married, that does not mean that piece of paper is going to tell him different that you're married. He's not going to do that. Okay. If they were doing it before, that's just showing you their characteristics. So, anyway, long story short, I come home back from work. He was already back. I come into my house and I just remember there was flies everywhere. And I was like, what the heck is it? Now, being who I am, and being that I was already on my medicine path and everything, I knew something was up. And my house felt weird. It felt like someone invaded my space. That's what it felt like. So I just remember going through my home, and I got my dowsing rods out and I asked, where is this energy coming from? Is it someone here in an apartment? He said, yes. Where's it coming from? And it pointed in the direction where he was. And I was like, is it coming from him? And I checked it, and it said, yeah. And I was like, whoa. So I went through my home, smudged everything, told these things to leave, that they were not welcome in my space. My space is of the highest light, and I don't ask for you to be here. You need to go. You need to get out. I was rejecting it. Get out of my space. You're not welcome here. So got rid of them. They all left. I mean, these were not no little flies. These were like these big, nasty, noisy, horse-like flies flying all over, hitching the head, all that kind of stuff. They were like, remember that scene in The Exorcist no, Amityville, Amityville. When the priest came over to bless the house and he's up there and they're all down by the lake doing their thing, he's blessing the house and he goes in that one room and there's flies all over the place and he's trying to do the blessing, he's getting sick, and then you hear that voice, get out, doing that crap. So well, I didn't have to go into that. Well, I told the flies to get out, get out of my home. So that's what these flies were like. They were all in my windows. They were just all in the front window, in the patio window. And I had never had flies like that in my place. Okay. That's how I knew something was up. So I did my medicine, put up my protections stronger on my windows and my doorway. And I said, this energy, I return it back to you. I don't need this from you. Leave me be. And I sent it all back to him. And it was kind of funny. I remember the next day, he came out of his house. I came out again, and he saw me. He went back into his house, but there was flies coming out of his house. So I was like, I'll teach you. Don't be messing with a priestess. What are you doing? I have deep bloodlines all the way to Avalon. Don't do that. That was naughty. So anyway, that's that whole energy of when somebody's sending something to you. So the reason why I bring this pit up is because this is a perfect thing to use as a visual of getting rid of something. If there's something that you wanted to get rid of yourself, I want you to just think about that pit, that when he stepped back, this is Spartus, and he kicks him into that pit. I want you to think about, what is it that you want to kick into that pit? What is it that you want to get rid of? Is it something that you've been going through and you just feel like you can't be dealing with it anymore? Is it something that you've been holding on to and you have to get rid of that energy, and it's time for you to step back and kick it into that pit? So I want you to really visualize that. If you need to go look at that movie and get a very strong visual of that pit, do that so that you can actually see what that pit looks like, and then take yourself on a journey to get that energy of whatever you're dealing with to throw it into that pit, to get rid of it in that pit. A lot of times people don't realize when you're in your dreams, this is when you're most vulnerable because you're in dream space. And a lot of people they had this movie called Dream Escape. I think it was Dream Escape. And in that movie, they talked about how you can go into your dreams and you can change things. You can not be a victim in your dreams. You can stop running down that hallway that extends over and over. You can stop having where your teeth are all falling out of your mouth and you can change it, or you can stop feeling like you're falling off the side of a pit and catching yourself. Um, Whenever you're in your dreams, you can change the response, the outcome of your dreams. Okay, it's like when you see something or something's chasing you, instead of running from it and you're running all night long and you wake up in the morning, you're damn tired from the running. So now instead of doing that, how about this? S- Catch yourself in a dream and say, wait, I'm in control of my dreams. Catch it. Catch whoever the person is, especially if it's someone who's chasing you, or they don't have a face, they're not showing who they are, and they're coming after you in your dreams. You have every right to stop and say, show yourself, or present yourself, or show who you are. Don't be tripped out if you might find out it might be you chasing yourself or somebody from your past that you didn't have closure with chasing you in your dreams. Okay. So, chasing dreams, repeat dreams, going into a house, you know this house, but you don't know why you're getting trapped in this house. You're looking at all of that. Where are you feeling trapped in your life? And what does the house look like? Is it falling apart? Are the stairs crumbling? Is it a nice looking house? Is it a big house? Is it a little house, but it has a lot of hidden compartments? What is it? So take the time to know that when you're in your deep dreams and something's coming at you, or someone's presenting themselves to you in a dream, a lot of people, especially in this time, are really working a lot of heavy, dark, negative magic. Okay. I have to say it that way because people do that stuff. And if they're not of light and doing things in a balanced way, they're doing things to hurt people. So sometimes you get people who just sit back and they're ticked off at you about something and they come after you and they wait until you go to sleep at night to do this stuff because they know you're vulnerable. They know you're open. This is why at night you got to make sure you have your space in order. You got to make sure you have your protection. Make sure you state, I am creating sacred space around me. I ask for divine sleep. I ask for divine protection all the way around my home, everything, anything of a lower vibration, anyone of a negative thought, energy. You are not welcome here. You shall not pass. Period. That way you keep it out. So, unless there's unresolved, deep stuff that you're holding on to and you're not letting go of because of some kind of guilt, anger, some kind of sadness and grief that you're holding on to. I already talked about the grief stuff. But if you have something unresolved, then I'm inviting you to really take the time to look at that. What is it? Do you need to forgive someone? Do you need to forgive yourself? Do you need to forgive the energy of that? And this is a great time to use that pit and visualize whatever that person, place, thing, or situation is and throw it in there. Kick the hell out of it. Hello, step back there. Boom, ja. Kick them into that pit. Kick that energy in there. So if you need to do that, do that. Because let me tell you something. Now, what do? This morning started off with a cha-cha-cha-bang. And it was all about, I noticed people were cutting themselves down. They weren't being loving to themselves. They were in a, I don't think anything's going to work. Da, 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 da. But nobody's paying attention what today is. Today is June, which is the number 6. The third, there's that 3. And then you have 2022, which makes up a 6 energy. So you got a 636. Add those together, then you're going to get that 15. and add that 1 and 5, you got a 6 again. So this is all about that energy. But here's the thing, looking at it from a numerology point of view is about home, balance, life, all that good stuff. But on the Gumby land, on the fake land, on the negative spectrum, it is all about ritual. It is all about negativity. It's all about the hidden stuff you're not seeing that's happening. It's all about creating chaos, chaotic energy, fear, fear, creating that energy. So one of my clients, she was really into it. She was going. She was just, da, 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 da. I'm like, no. And I stopped her dead in her tracks and says, please, today, Saturday, Sunday, and especially Monday, you don't want to be saying anything cutting yourself down. You don't want to be saying anything negative. You have to be up on your highest vibrational energy right now. Okay, because they're already creating, the Gumby people are already creating this energy, throwing it out there to make you feel defeated, depressed. I can't do it. Nothing's going to happen. You're not supposed to be there because that's what they want you to do. They want you to fear. They want you to panic. They want you to be in fear and everything. What if I was to tell you that the Gumby people are creating everything that's happening to all of us right now? They are sitting around a table and they literally create all of this stuff. And they're getting a laugh out of it because they're feeding off of the energy of fear and panic. And some people reach the end and say, I don't think there's a way out of this. And the next thing you know, they're talking about suicide, taking their light, which is, means taking their life. And this is something that we, as the spiritual beings that we are, we have to really shine our light for those who are just getting a little bit shuffled in the roughness and help them keep their light on. Okay. So it's really important to understand the times we are in, it is called spiritual warfare. And this spiritual warfare is all energetically done, it's all emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually done to us on all different levels. Now, if you could just sit back and think how the Gumby people, the fake people, the Gumby people, and when I say Gumby people, I mean people that have no soul, no heart, no nothing. They're just walking around stuff for people. You know, minions upon the millions, being these energies that are creating the chaos. Okay, so after I got her squared away and saying it like it is, because if you've ever worked with me, you've ever had spiral light treatments from me, you know I say it like it is. I do not cut it. I do not dance around the end. I say it like it is. A lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people cannot handle the truth when you speak it. They rather not hear it, so they avoid you like the plague. Anyway, because I just say it like it is. And some people just can't handle it. And I'm not saying it in a mean way. I say it like it is. That's just all there is to it. I don't have time to come on here or with people that I'm working with or whatever. Really? Get out of here. I don't have time to come on here and be dealing with the energy of those type of people. So we're just going to go like this. And I'm not going to look at that. I don't have time for you. I do not consent to your energy. Run along. So, energetically, you do not want to lower your energy for this. This is not where we're going to be. Now, the sad thing is, on today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is where we are really going to start experiencing the chaos from the Gumby beans. So we already know the gas is going up. It's crazy. I just cannot believe, especially here, how much the gas is costing. And Forbidden is not doing anything to help that. Forbidden is keeping it going because Forbidden was told to really tear down the United States as much as possible. That's what Forbidden is supposed to be doing. It's terrible. So, this is why it's so important to really, really keep your light up and really step into that. And those of us, here's the thing. You know what I really like about the Spartans? I'm going to tell you what I like. It was anything that deals with like Samoans, Spartans back in that time, warriorship. The men stood in warriorship. They stood in warriorship. They stood in divinity of their masculinity. And they were warriors. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that went to cities and stuff and they raped and pillaged women and children and whatever and killing up people. I'm not talking about those warriors. I'm talking about the ones that made sure that their family was safe, their children were safe, and their women were safe. Those are the warriors I'm talking about. Somewhere along the line, a lot of our men, if they're not culturally staying in their culture of their ancestral, have lost their warriorship. And it's a struggle for them to get it back. Back in the day, it was nothing for men to go and get these wonderful moments of being with elder men and learning how to be that warrior, a rite of passage. Hmm. So this movie actually presents that energy of how they went off into their wars. So the reason why I bring all this up is because today, even though Mercury has gone direct, it's creating this alignment. I had to write my notes down. With it's creating an alignment with Venus, Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter. But it is also aligning with Algol, which is the demon star. Now, when it's in alignment with that, it creates dark energy, it creates havoc, it creates um, monsters of unseen. That's what it creates. So, with that being created in that essence and how that moves into that energy, it really is energy that is, you have to be aware. You have to be aware how you talk to yourself. You have to be aware how you talk to others, how you're presenting your energy, because that energy is going to be amplified. We are living in very parallel times right now. And as sacred as life is, and each being, when those are going around and doing things, creating chaos, it causes that disharmony in the body. So this is why I use this movie 300 and talk about that pit of how you should get rid of energy that does not need to be infringing upon you, you know? And I always teach this from my theory of a lot of times there's people in the world that are hurt people that went through something tragic in their life and they never got an apology, they never got a healing for it, and they have been carrying this all their lives. And they show themselves in the most lowest vibration possible by striking out. So, a lot of times, some people do it subconsciously, some people do it consciously. Um, so, you just need to be aware of energies you be stepping up into and be aware of your surroundings when you go out over the weekend. Everyone be aware. Okay. We got a lot of energies that are creating scenarios that's not good, you know. And we, as anyone that's over 18, over 21, need to be those warriors of light and protectors. Yeah. So I want you to think about those things that you just want to kick over into that pit. Like I said, if you don't know what I'm talking about in that movie 300, please take a look at it. It's in the first part of the movie. And take a look at that pit and use that as a visual to go into that so that you will see that. You will use that as a visual. So I hope this helps a lot of you. On the lighter note, I thought this is interesting because with this alignment, there's going to be high spiritual rays of light for high spiritual people. So there's a duality here. There's a heavy rays of lights that's going to be coming through on that opposite end of that star. So here's another thing that's been happening. Today, when I turned on the radio on 107.9, it's just running taped music because next Wednesday, they're actually going to make it a live radio station. So today, and I thought this was really odd because this day, they are playing all the songs from 25 years back, 25 years ago. That takes me to 1997. What was going on in 1997? I'm showing you how this game is being played. So why would they pick 25 years back to play the music and state it as such? They're not just saying, "Oh, we're just going to go back to the 90s or we're just going to go back to the 80s or we're just going to go back to." No, they're specifically saying, "We're going back 25 years ago." 25 years ago. And I'm like, why would they go 25 years ago? Hmm. I started thinking about it. And I started thinking about timelines. Now, you know that saying, I know you've experienced this. You know that saying where people always say something like, "Hey, didn't I see you the other day at blah blah blah?" And you yourself know you weren't even out. You didn't go anywhere. But somebody swears up and down that they saw you at a store and they were waving at you and waving, you didn't respond. Oh, it was you. It was you on a different timeline. Everyone keeps forgetting how dimensional this planet is. So it was you on a different timeline. So now I'm getting ready to kind of get you to go things that make you go, hmm. So have you ever thought about this? And I started thinking about it after I started learning about all the cloning stuff and all that stuff. And How, I remember the time when the scientists were all happy that they cloned a sheep and they were all excited about it. And at that time, you know, you hear about it, you're like, wow, that's really cool. But where do we draw the line of you're creating something? So that means if you can create a sheep, what else are you going to be trying to create? So I want you to think about this. Now, I come back from a nursing background. Have you ever thought about when you go get your blood work done and they do all their tests with your blood work, whatever they're scraping or whatever they're taking, where does that go after they're done with it? Do they actually go wash it away? Do they actually go get rid of it? Do they actually put it in a disintegrator and get rid of it? Do they actually do that? Have you ever seen them literally get rid of it? Because if you've seen them get rid of it, shouldn't we have a lot of landfill of biohazard stuff? Shouldn't it be disintegrated somewhere? Think about it. When they draw your blood, they're going to take what they need to take. Sometimes they take 3 vials, depending if they're going to do a BUN, if they're going to do a Kim panel, if they're going to do a metabolic check. Okay. So they run their test. What do they do with the rest of the vial? Mhm. Think about it. Here's another thing I want you to think about. This is so important. Yes, blood of life, exactly. But I want you to think about this. Remember back in the time since this radio station, this has got me thinking, okay? Because I want you to think about this. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing right now, whatever you've been experiencing right now in your life, are you looping in a pattern, a cycle, and you're trying to get out of it and you don't know why you can't get out of it? Because I want you to think about this. Go back. Go back. I'm getting ready to kind of make you go, think about it. Just just a hypothetical thought. But I went there because why am I thinking about it? Somewhere in me, my soul is telling me something. So think about this. Remember back in the day how we were always getting reports? Oh, today there was a breach at Sears. All the accounts at Sears were hijacked. They were broken into. They were stolen information. Remember how we were hearing that all the time? Stolen information, stolen information, stolen information, stolen information. If you had a card here, remember how many times people had to go get new cards and stuff because their information was stolen from somewhere where they ate. Their information was stolen from somewhere that they shopped at. Their information was stolen, all this stuff. I don't hear anything about that. Well, I'm kind of confused. Why are we not hearing anything about that? We have more technology. And all of a sudden, it just like stopped. Everybody's not doing facial recognition and all this. Everybody's not doing that yet. Think about it. Who was stealing the information? Dun dun dun. I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay. Okay, here's something else I want you to think about. So, as I was going through the movies, and now keep in mind they're playing all this music 25 years back, 1997. Okay. And I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, what's all this about? And for a split second, I started thinking, wow, it sounds like they're paying respect to a lot of past artists that may and may not be doing what they are doing, looking like they're supposed to be looking. And here's something I want you to think about now, since we already know about they letting all this stuff out about cloning. Now, why would Billie Eilish? I caught this one. I hope you caught it too. Have some kind of sit down talk with whoever this news reporter guy was, and start talking about the fact she has Tourette's. I might fix my hand a certain, I might look over my shoulder, I might do something. She's never talked about that. I remember when Billie Eilish first came out. She's always talked about depression and anxiety. Those are her only two things she's always talked about. So why would she start talking about Tourette's? Think about it. Because she's basically preparing you, saying, so if you see me do something, whatever movement, whatever that's abnormal, it's only because I have that. Really? Well, I checked the energy on that. I did my card out. And yes, David Letterman, thank you. And the cards were saying that wasn't true, what she was saying, because she's already been duplicated. So if anything goes down, that's going to be the duplicated one doing something. Okay. That's what's going to be happening. So I find it very interesting. You have to pay more attention as you are moving through your evolution of yourself and waking up. Please, more than anything, these next 4 days, take care of yourself, love yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Do not beat up others. Do not be mean to others. Do not be mean to yourself, because you are divine. You are a divine being. And some people have forgotten that. Don't cut yourself down. Don't think you don't deserve to live your dreams. Don't think you're never going to get that. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. The more you keep, especially on today and these next few days, the more you keep speaking that into your reality, you are solidifying it for the next 7 years. Or should I say 10, since we're in a new cycle. Do you really want to keep chasing something like this for 7 to 10 years? It's a lot easier if you just say, oh, I'm still aligning myself with this. I'm still in alignment. I am moving myself to the higher frequency timeline. This is the game. If you're not aware of what timeline you should be on, like the organic timeline, yes, you're missing out. You're stuck in the artificial one that's going down, that keeps you in fear, doubt, not knowing, no clarity, not getting the results you want, not feeling close to you as a creator being. There's a lot of muck and mire stuff happening around you. You have to figure out, are you going to be a part of it? Or are you going to say, no, I am not consenting to this energy over here. I'm not aligning with this vibration. This is the trick. This is the alchemy. And the more you say no to the Gumby land, the Gumby people, the more you're saying yes to you and you're true. Okay. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday, you're going to see a lot of craziness because they're building up the energy for June, which is the 6th month, the sixth day, and 2022 adds up to a six. What is that? What is that representation on a negative for them? The 666. But if you know alchemy and you know numerology and you understand what that really means, it's the divinity of us. Absolutely. So please, wherever you are, if you have your light on, make sure check in with others that might be going through something right now and they're feeling energies and they don't know what to do. They're feeling it and they're going low. Shine your light so their light will stay on. Okay. All hands on deck. We're in the heart of this spiritual warfare right now. And they've had their time. And it's time for them to leave and to get off of our planet. We're not being enslaved to the system anymore. And I say this from my divine soul of who I am. And I'm saying it to you for who you are. So make sure these next 4 days, you're on it. Armor up, protect yourself, and be aware of where you are. Okay, pay attention. I always teach people, pay attention to details. They teach us that in nursing. Pay attention to details. Pay attention. Pay attention to when you go into a store and you see something weird parked out in front of it or off to the side. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention if you wake up in the morning and you're in the middle of setting your intentions for the day. So you make sure you're on that alignment and you're in that aligned space. Make sure you're aligned. Pay attention to, are you supposed to go to where you're thinking about going? Or has the time energy change? Maybe you're not supposed to go today. Maybe you're supposed to go tomorrow. Maybe you need to wait. Pay attention. Pay attention if all of a sudden you're running late and don't know why you can't get out the door because you're being delayed on purpose so you do not end up on a timeline that is not for you to be on. Pay attention if something went down and you weren't supposed to meet up with that person or those group of people. Pay attention because these are the times we're in, and it's time to really stand in that. Okay. All right, lovelies. I just wanted to come on here. Oh, wait a minute. When I used to be a big fan, I'm going to end it with this. I used to be a big fan of, that movie, Angels and Demons, and it had Tom Hanks in it. Well, we know Tom Hanks was no angel. He definitely was a demon in design. He was. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and end with that because I'm sure if you pay attention and look around in our lovely world of interception, inverted timelines, dualities, just find out exactly where you want to be. Be in the real energy. You're a sovereign being. You're a divine light. You are not a mistake. You are loved. You just have forgotten what that feels like to be loved. Just remember who you are. And you're here for a purpose. You're here to help. So make it count. Be good to yourself. Be loving to yourself. Speak loving things to yourself as well as to others. Don't be mean to yourself. Treat yourself well. Be kind to yourself. And that keeps your frequency up. Go dance. Go listen to music. Go eat fun food. Live. Be happy. Be merry. Live it up. Keep your energy up. All right. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here on Be So Light. I'm Priestess McConnell. Shine your light. And that's a wrap. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.